Hello and welcome to Glen Ives Craft Design. My name is Chastity Ives, here bringing you the first holiday card of my holiday card series using Lawn Fawn's Simon Says Stamp Stamptember exclusive set. I immediately bought this set as soon as I saw Prairie Paper and Ink do her card. It was top tier. I plan to use this stamp set so much this holiday season, and I'm so glad I got my hands on it. If you did not get your hands on it, then I'm sorry, but you can watch me enjoy it while enjoy me using it instead. So essentially, I took a bunch of the stamps that come in the set: the snake, the fox, this turtle, and the cactuses and presents, stamped them around on a just blank white piece of paper, and then took out my Copic markers to color these in. And I went with various shades of green. I even like sort of a bluey green there. I thought that one would be kind of cool. But and I stuck with like 3 different reds. And honestly, I just wanted to keep it simple, just because I didn't have a lot of time to really spend on these cards. I spent like 3 days making them in total. So you might see like my shirt change, because one day I colored, one day I did the background, and the other day or the last day I assembled all the elements together. So back to what I'm doing now, though. I super sped this up because it's just me coloring a lot. But I didn't, as I was coloring these, I didn't know necessarily what background I was going to use. So I sort of was looking around on just Simon's website as well as Lawn Fawn's, and I saw that there was a desert die cut. So I ordered it, but it didn't get here before I made the card. But maybe I'll use it when I use the stamp set in the future. But it essentially was like a canyon sort of die cut. So I made do with what I had. And what I had on hand is a stencil that I'll talk about a little later in the video as I start to use it. But here on the cactus, I'm just trying to create shadows and somewhat definition, because this is sort of going to be a small, or not a thick layered card, but just little bits or little pieces propped up on phone tape later on down the video. And I think my favorite character in this is probably the snake or the turtle. I really had fun coloring those two. And yeah, all of these images are just so cute. And that's instantly why I bought them. And, you know, Prairie Paper and Ink's her video on it using these, you really have to check out if you haven't already. I'll try and see if I can remember to like link it, or somehow put it on the end screen or something. But I'll definitely put it in the comments below. So on the dirt, though, I went a little dark, and if I did anything different, I would try and find a different color brown that's maybe not so dark. Maybe a lighter brown. Oh, that would be nice. But yeah, look at it. It was very therapeutic, because I think on this day when I was coloring these images, I wasn't really wanting to color or make a full-on card. I really just felt like coloring, and this was perfect. It came in at just the right time, and that's why I just sat there and just colored these, took my time, and I think I listened to an audiobook or something. I don't even remember. And just had fun with it. The one thing I do regret is the yellow ribbon there. The yellow ribbon I would have changed to green. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. Those presents are still cute and all. It's just maybe I would have. If I could go back, I would, and that would be the only thing I would change. Um, And you'll notice that I stamped quite a few images and colored a few images in. I don't actually end up using all of the colored in images because one, I don't know what happened, but because I also bought the die set for this, I lost one of the die, I lost a die essentially, and it was for the smallest dirt piece, and it drove me insane. I had my husband help me. It ended up in some sort of cat toy that I don't even know how it got there. It just flew out of my snippers, and it drove me insane. But so that was fun. That was a treat to deal with. But yeah, it was a lot. And then I lost I lost a couple of these at one point. I don't know. It was crazy. Anyways, so for the background, again, I went with what I had. So I have this My Favorite Things watercolor wash stencil. And you'll see here, I started at the bottom, which I instantly regretted. So I flipped it over because pieces of paper have two sides. And instead started from the top, you know. And the colors I used were terracotta, clay, and nutmeg for the canyon here, because that's the look I was going for. Yeah, the stencil is perfect for watercolor, but I thought, well, I'm just gonna layer these over top each other and just ink blend, and I can somewhat see a canyon forming here in my brain. So it was sort of like a, I don't know, interpretive background is what I'd call it. So I went in with, like I said, clay and terracotta, nutmeg, and I think eventually I go in with latte to give it a little more brownish color, because this turned out really red, these two, but I made it work just because I was picturing sunset, nighttime desert theme background. So here I go in with the nutmeg, and I just used a couple, all four sides really, various, like holding the brush at various I don't know, strengths, I guess is the word I'm trying to look for. Um, and you can see here the image is starting to come together. I'm starting to get it, You can see up at the top, I did smudge the ink, but that's okay because the sky colors I'm gonna go with are very dark at the towards the base of the canyon. So I don't have the opposite cutting of the stencil, so I just took out a piece of tape and put a piece of tape over the top of the canyon there, and had to get my lights moved over a little bit because I wasn't able to see all that well. And I just took out my blade here and cut the tape so that I would have sort of a mask for the sky, because I didn't want to ink blend over what I just did. So leaving the tape there will help me protect what I just did, because I don't like covering up what I've done all that much. That really irks me. But yeah, and then the tape was easy to cut off there, and you can see it wasn't perfect, but that's okay, just because it didn't need to be perfect. The sky colors I went with were lilac, heather, and bubblegum. So towards the tape, I did the darker color, so the heather. And, in my head, I was thinking, the darker color would be towards the canyon, and then the brighter color would be towards the sky. To try and hopefully give some depth and illusion to, your field of vision as you're looking at the card front. And the ink blending is not perfect, and that's okay, just because we're going to splatter over this anyways. It didn't really matter. In the end, it looks horrendous on camera, but looking at it in real life, you can tell that like, oh, it's top tier. It's good. So I left that masking tape on, just took a piece of scrap white paper to mark or to hide the canyon that we already ink blended because I didn't want the silver splatter from picket fence to get on said desert ground. I took out my that paintbrush you had there that you just saw. That was just a random piece of a random brush I had, and it just looks perfect. So then the sentiment that I wanted to make was just putting together all three of the sentiments in a line. And what I went with was you haven't sand or you desert a sensational Christmas. And that's a mouthful. But what I'm going to do is heat emboss white ink on a black piece of cardstock here. And you can see I messed up there and the alignment, but that's okay. I just moved it back down. And the ink I used was Hero Arts white pigment ink, and I stamped that twice just so I could get some good coverage on the words. And then took out my Simon Says Stamp white embossing powder. And man, does that look good. So since I used the anti-static powder on the black cardstock, you really want to rub that off. You really want to rub the sand or the this anti-static powder off just because it looks dirty if you don't. And then I put this in my paper trimmer just to trim that sentiment down because I'm going to leave it as a rectangle, but I didn't want to take up the whole card front. So this is going to be an A2 size card front, but it's going to be horizontal rather than vertical opening. And I just put tape runner on the back of the card front. And you can see on my phone, I took a picture of how I wanted to arrange these. I went with that layout, but I've moved a few things around, and you might be able to see that as I'm arranging this here. But put the cactus on the left side. The cactus I put on there, I didn't realize this until I was done, but I was like, I put that on there crooked. But I will just blame that on me being left-handed. I put things at tilts for some reason, as most left-handed people do. And I don't know why. I know why, but like, you can see it here. It's crooked, and I don't know, it gives it character, I guess. So anyways, I propped up the snake as well as the turtle. And I believe that was all I propped up. I guess we'll see here shortly. Put the presents in front of the turtle, like a peace offering to the snake. And then the fox gets his own, his little present. And then I tried to figure out where to put the star because I wanted to use all of the elements, but I didn't actually, because again, I lost a couple that I later found. But essentially, the star I did prop up on foam tape and put that next to the present. That's on dirt as well. And then for the sentiment, I took out my T-square and put that up top. So then that way I could put this on straight. Granted, my whole sentiment that I embossed isn't maybe not the straightest, but that's okay. Again, it gives it character, it gives your eyes something to look at. You know, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. In the end, this turned out exactly how I imagined, which doesn't happen often, but it happens enough that I really enjoyed it. And I haven't used any embellishments in a while, so I took out these clear little embellishments and decided to put those around the sentiment. I believe those are Simon Says Stamp embellishments. And after putting those on, that completed the card. And I really enjoy how this turned out. Yeah, and if you were able to get your hands on this, I thoroughly enjoy those videos, and I look forward to seeing yours if you haven't already. But that finished off my card, and thank you so much for watching.